I want to show you a little of payroll. We are not diving into the deep waters of what that is called taxes and payroll. But I do want to show you what it is for the sake of time. If you have questions, definitely ask. If you want to have a little more in-depth on it, just let us know. But I want to at least show you what it does. Do any of you guys outsource your payroll currently? All right. If you have our accounting and payroll, it doesn't cost you anything. We have the option for a direct deposit. Now, I will preface that right now, those who currently are in it, it's perfect. Those who are not, right now we're just having to take your name. We can't add anybody currently because of a couple of things. So all we're doing is just writing down that information, and then they'll let you know when it's available and they've got you added to it. It doesn't cost any extra for a direct deposit payroll. There's like a fee to do it. I think, I'm not in sales, so do not say, Jennifer said it only costs this. But I think it's like $1 to do it, something like that. It's simple. For every time we would do direct deposit, it's very minimal, and it's definitely worth it if you want a direct deposit. What we also do, we partner with Atrix, which is a tax form company. So you can run all of your W-2s, 1099s, 941s, your state taxes. You can't do your local tax forms from there because there's just Ohio, every single city, well, almost every city has a local tax. It's keeping up with that, and those forms would be impossible. But it does all that for you. When you do your W-2s at the end of the year, you just literally, as long as everything is good throughout the year, you just walk through their little step-by-step thing. They'll even e-file it for you. You can have them e-file everything for a little cost. It's not much at all. I think it's like a minimum of $25, and then when you get over a certain amount, you have to pay so much per W-2. You make it to where they'll even mail you the W-2. Or you can do like I do. They e-file everything to the IRS. I print my own W-2s, and and it's free to do it that way. State, I think, costs a little bit if you want them to e-file state. So you don't even have to think. We do the calculation for you. We take it, and whatever the federal tax tables say, and based on your setup, they do their thing, and it figures up how much taxes are supposed to be pulled out for that check based on their gross. You can exempt them because, some are getting housing, and that's not taxable. Federal or Medicare, Social Security, we don't withhold on that for them. We can exempt that, and it doesn't do it. You can add additional amounts. So if somebody's like, hey, I want, an extra, $50 a pay taken out for federal, you can do that. It'll still do the calculations. It'll take out that extra amount, and it thinks for you. That's what I love about payroll. It does, right? I mean, it's, to not have to sit. I remember, I wasn't doing payroll back then, but I remember Grandma taking those W-2s and sitting down at that typewriter and very slowly, so she didn't make a mistake, filling out all that information. She was like this tax guru, though. Like, she oozed tax information. It's amazing. But she would do it all by hand. You don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to pay to outsource, which they charge a pretty hefty amount from what I understand. We can do it for you. It does it. You set it up. You put in your employees' information. They fill out their form if you don't have that already done, like their W-4 to show what kind of withholdings. You just simply fill out this information. You can put in their position, what their start date is, all that kind of stuff. But if you notice, like in the setup, you can choose what type of a W-2 employee they are. This is not something you have to guess with. This is the stuff that they fill out when they fill out their W-4 form. So you don't even have to be like, I don't know about this. And again, call us. We'll help you. Okay? What state, if you have local tax, you can put that in there. If you do auto draw, or if you want to use our direct deposit, you can select that. Yes, ma'am? Oh, you mean the W-2Cs? Yeah, so it is an option on PCs, for sure. And on Mac, so here's the thing with Atrix. There are actually two totally different programs that Atrix designs. Used to be available on there. I know, yeah, it's still not on a Mac. That is it. You could get a hold of Atrix and request it. That's nothing we have. So Atrix builds the program for Mac, and they just rebuilt the program because when Mac went to Mojave, I think it was, we had to redo everything. Even we did. So they rebuilt the program like in December, and they've cleaned it up some, like we have the history button back, things like that. But the W2C is not an option on their Macs, but it is on a PC. So if you are afraid that you need to do that, you can do it on a PC. But I would get a hold of Atrix and request it. Absolutely. Every one of you call or go to Atrix and submit the request. They can build it. We can't. We don't, like, we can suggest as well. But that all comes from Atrix. But I know that's why. It has something to do with when they built it, it's not the same program as it is on a PC. So if you have a PC in the office right now and they don't have it in a Mac still, run your payroll taxes on the PC. Then you can do a C if you need to. Great question, though, about that. Your pay items, you can have as many pay items as you want. Come on. Sleeping on me today. So, and then what it does is it merges it together. So you could have the salary and you could have housing, because they would be two separate pay items because housing doesn't have any taxes. When you calculate payroll, as long as the pay frequency is the same, it will merge them together on one check for you and adjust the taxes as needed. Or if you have somebody that's your cleaning, but they're also, the youth secretary and they need two different pay items because they're coming from two different expense numbers, you can do that. And as long as you select that frequency or what have you, and you select those things, it will merge them together. You can even select a monthly and a weekly frequency if they get monthly housing. It's just going to go on one check. So if your overseer, let's say, wants housing check on a different, as a different check, not merged on his one, you would want to run that separately because it will merge them together. But you can choose the account numbers you want. There's hourly, salary, and housing, or allowance. I read the word housing. And then this is where you can exempt them from taxes or add on the amount. So if you notice, though, housing is an allowance, and because of that, it goes on box 14, other. And so when you click allowance, you have this extra line. And the reason for that, when you click box 14, there's all this wonderful, fun stuff that you can add. It's crazy. Another great resource for payroll, if you guys don't know, just put his number on speed dial. Anybody want to guess who I'm getting ready to say? Anybody? No? Art Rhodes. Art Rhodes is my buddy. Actually, he might not be my fan anymore. Anybody from Church of God, churches, or anything like that, because, as CDM, we're limited in what we can say. I have great knowledge on a lot of taxes. It's what I was raised, hearing my grandma do nothing but talk about it to me and train and over again. But I'm limited in what I can say there, so I'll send them, if they're Church of God, Cleveland, Tennessee, I send them, I'm like, you know what, just call Art Rhodes. Or they call me fussing, my pastor says I can't mark exempt for the Medicare and FICA. I was like, well, have them call Art Rhodes. Because Art Rhodes will set him straight. If you've never had to be set straight by that, he'll be happy to tell you in a very soft, loving way. He's great. He's so knowledgeable. His whole office staff is so knowledgeable. And they also have some great resources on the Benefits Board website. Under resources, there is a whole manual that you can print. They keep it updated. And I would encourage you as a state office, get familiar with that. If your churches call you, you can use that. They have like tax manual, ministers, salary stuff. I mean, I'm not going to go there. Just go on their website, benefitsboard.com, and click, is it org? It is .com. Click on resources, and you'll see on manuals. And then you're going to see all these manuals. They're free for you. They're PDFs. You can download them if you want or view them online. And they keep them updated. Why is that important? You know how often people are trying to get rid of housing or deal with the whole insurance stuff and all that. He keeps that stuff current. No need to guess on any of that. Just call the benefits board. They are so helpful. Like, where do I put housing? Where do I put for, the retirement? What box do I put that in? Get a hold of him. He'd be happy to help you. They are brilliant down there. I love them dearly for that. Could I point out their faces in a thing? Maybe Art Rhodes. Everybody else, no, but man, I love them. They're my friends. You can set deductions, so if you do have pensions and things like that, it'll automatically pull that pension out for you and create an invoice record so that you can have, you can pay that bill. So there's a lot that you can do with this. We are not going to show you all the reports. Well, I'm going to show you one report, but you're not going to see how you calculate it. It's literally a click of a button and everything. It's very simple. So for those of you who don't use it, if you have any questions, see one of us here. We're happy to show you that. You can go online to our help center. We have great stuff on payroll. I will say it's laid out great. There's a whole section on ministers' salaries and all of that. So our help center has got a lot there. And of course, our support staff, they are great with payroll. They love January. They really, really do. Actually, they do love helping everybody. January is just, people call very, very stressed, and your heart goes out to them. But that's what we're here for. January time comes, and you're struggling doing your W-2s. We'll help you walk through them. We even have videos that literally walk through how to generate these tax forms, and they do a great job. Just to show you something, a taxable income summary is it's my go-to to tell me how the payroll was, what taxes were withheld, and all of that. I'm just going to assume that this is right because I didn't do it at the users conference. So with payroll, this is just a composite view, but notice I can see the employee's name. It's very hard to read, but the employee's name, this is their gross, their allowance, what their total then gross was, what's taxable, because housing wouldn't be considered taxable, what's going to show on box 1 in the W-2, and then what was withheld from that. And the same goes for FICA and Medicare. This sign here, the office has to match that FICA Medicare, and so then that's what your total payment would be. And so then over here, if you were going to pay your taxes, this would be your tax payment. It's a very high tax payment, but it would be. It's possible. So it's a great report. There are lots of different reports, lots of different things that you can do. So I do want to encourage you guys, especially if you outsource your payroll, at least look into it. And if anything, kind of run it without printing the checks while you're outsourcing it, see how it goes. We're in I almost said November. Oh man, I'm not ready for the holidays yet. We are in October, so do it for the next few months. Just don't print the checks. Just calculate it, see how it goes, get it set up, kind of get the feel for it, see what you think. Then you can decide, is that something maybe that we can do down the road? Yeah, I'm going to answer that for you. Yes. And I would say all these other state offices that do it would agree. Payroll is great. CDM shines with their payroll and accounting system. It just does. I mean, I have had people say that they have looked and looked for things. I trained one time for our church. It was an accountant she's like the CEO and the accountant of a multi-million-dollar company. and she was going to help us in the church. And so I was showing her, training her. She was like, why don't we use this? I'm like, I don't know, go ahead. Like, happy to show you, But it was so good. She was like, we can't do some of these things, and it would be so helpful. Their accounting and payroll, top notch. And you got some support staff that are extremely knowledgeable in accounting and payroll. You are not alone. And you've got some friends right around here who are also happy to help you too, okay?